You're listening to Mile High Insiders with Nick Kendall and Luke Patterson. Head on over to milehighhuddle.com for all things Broncos. Now, it's time to find out what's going on behind the walls of UC Health Training
See
Center.
that little clock. Give me that 1, 2, the 3, and letting it breathe, as Chad Jensen likes to say. Nick Kendall is off. Someone gave him a Roby day, I think, right? And that's the Bradley Roby day, like when he didn't show up to practice. But what's going on, guys? Luke Patterson, Mile High Insiders. I'm here with John Buwana Beast. You know him as our producer. Today, he is my co-host because it's Nick Kendall's birthday. Everybody, be sure to go say happy birthday to Nick Kendall at Nick Kendall MHH because Nick, man, Nick's a good dude, John. And Nick's a good dude in a world full of craziness. So I'm a big believer in birthdays. Celebrate the holidays, the little things, all kinds of stuff like that, man. So be sure to go say happy birthday to Nick Kendall. But John, we've got a lot to get to tonight, man. It feels like, you know, we should be digging into the Super Bowl. We should be talking Chiefs, Buccaneers. No, this is Broncos country, man. We got a ton of stuff we got to get to, but before we do that, man, how are things? How you doing? You looking sharp? I was asking you if you're growing that hair out. You looking professional?
I am growing that hair out, just not out of choice, just because I don't want to get that haircut still, holding strong.
All right.
But, you know, otherwise things are going well. Everything with my family is going well. So what else can you ask for? Healthy family, happy family, that and coming on speaking Broncos with Luke. That's all man. I can ask for on a Saturday. How you been doing?
I'm great, man. You know, I just got back from the Senior Bowl, so Chad and the MHH community have been taking it easy on me for a week, letting me get my bearings and getting used to the Mile High City again, and I'm thankful to be back. But what a trip, man. It was awesome being at the Senior Bowl. It was awesome checking in with you guys every day. It was awesome writing about it, and got a whole bunch of content that we can go through for the off season. But before we do that, we got to get into some quick matters of business. And the first biggest matter of business, saying what's up to Broncos country. I see some of our usuals in the house. I see Gary Smith. How you doing, Gary? Stu Meat, Tyler, Darab in the house, Robert, Jamal, ZW Designs. I see you, buddy. How are you? Hope you're doing well.
Ahmed, yeah, we got the guys we need in here.
Yeah, the guys, the gals. Cody Potter's in here, a regular. Robert Kitchens. We got some new folks in here. I love Cobra Commander. Now, what's up, Beast? Just stopping to say bye, to say what's up.
He's in Germany. I'm not sure if he's able to stay awake this whole time for this. Wow. So just want to say hi. I know you're doing your best over there serving in Germany. So thank you so much for your service, Commander.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for your service. And man, dude, that's always so humbling to me when we have people from all over the world supporting not only the Broncos, but Mile High Huddle. And speaking of supporting Mile High Huddle, guys, the very first thing that I've got to get to today is saying hello to our presenting sponsor of today's show. That is Manscaped. Listen, fellas, 2020, man, it sucked. There's no simple way to say it. But guess what? It's 2021. It's a new year, which means it's time to embrace the new year, new me mindset. The best way to start cultivating that is with Manscaped. Now, Manscaped is the best in men's below the waist grooming, offering precision engineered tools for your family jewels and helping 2 million men around the world keep their male grooming on point. If you let yourself go in 2020 while in quarantine, Manscaped's here for you. And they'll get you cleaned up. They'll get you rebooted. They'll get you feeling good. John, I was able to take a bunch of the Manscaped wipes with me on the road down to the Senior Bowl. I absolutely loved it, man. It was so convenient. I was able to stay fresh, stay clean, stay confident. And I just, my wife loves the cologne. We went out to dinner last weekend. I mean, what can you say about Manscaped? They take care of you, right?
Yeah, they really do it in all manners. So if you want to smell right, go ahead and get the cologne. It's the refined cologne. It really is great. It's nothing, hits you too hard. It's going to be one of those smells that it's nice. It's going to be something that your woman's going to like. And it really is a great product, everything they have, and for whatever you're looking for. So definitely look on over to Manscaped and go over to use the code word huddle.
Yeah, well, and they're always cooking up new things at Manscaped too. That's one of the coolest things. Chad just sent us an email the other day saying we got something new coming in the works, coming down into your house in the mail, and that's just the thing, man. one thing I want to talk about is the Lawnmower 3.0. Now, guys, this is waterproof. It's skin safe. It's an absolutely awesome trimmer that's going to reduce nicks. It's going to keep you safe. It's going to keep you confident. And there's even a 3rd-generation trimmer now that has lights. And that light is able to illuminate those hard, crazy areas, right? And everybody knows what I'm talking about there. But Manscaped has even thrown in their shed travel bag to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. Now, I just told you about my trip to the Senior Bowl, John. They had my back. Speaking of comfort, the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer briefs are also included in this shed travel bag and are hands down the best underwear you will ever wear. So, because 2020 was so awful, make sure your boys are refreshed. Make sure you're feeling good. You're getting those new beginnings. Embrace the new year, new me mindset with Manscaped. So, Broncos country, MHI fam, get 20% off and free shipping with the code HUDDLE at manscaped.com. That's the keyword HUDDLE. Your family jewels will thank you.
And again, with Valentine's Day coming up, you may want to make sure everything's looking good, feeling good. You want to be prepared for Valentine's Day, guys, fellas. So make sure you use Manscaped's code HUDDLE. Sorry, that was a mouthful for me. And you're good to go.
Yeah, man. And dude, I love it. I absolutely love the smell. I even wear some like when I'm not going anywhere, some of that deodorant just because it makes me feel good, man. It makes me feel confident. I feel good talking to you and the audience. And
I know what you're talking about.
You know, I like to say I have a face for radio, and then Chad got me in this whole StreamYard thing. So I digress, and I'm sorry, Broncos country. It is what it is with me. But we're with the Mile High Insiders, guys, and you can get at us on Twitter at MHI_football pod. Of course, we're part of Mile High Huddle. We talked to you guys about Manscaped, but one thing I want to talk to you guys about is getting your swag on. TheHuddleUpPod.com. Grab yourself an MHI hat. Go get yourself a gator. John, I took the gators down to Mobile with the masks. So comfortable, man. Absolutely loved it. Chad hooked it up with polos, all kinds of swag, all kinds of gear. And if you guys are joining us today via Facebook, we appreciate you guys so much. Give us a thumbs up. Be sure to become a supporter. Watch out for Kelberman's Corner. All of the exciting things that we have coming down the pike at Mile High Huddle.
This is the Overtime Podcast Network.
And John, when we started talking this morning, one of the biggest things that I told you, and I texted Chad, I was like, I already got it. I know what we're talking about on the pod, because I was on the fan last night, and the fellas, Cecil and Nick, asked me a question. Hey, man, what if John Elway could get this deal done? I'm thinking, what deal? John's retired, right? He's not doing anything. He's off on the boat. He's being a grandfather now, all those cool things, right? No, wrong. They're saying, dude, isn't there really only one guy that could land Deshaun Watson? I mean, it's not George Payton. It's John Elway, right? A former quarterback. Maybe John Elway puts on that gold jacket. Maybe he puts on those 2 Super Bowl rings on one hand from a player, a Super Bowl ring as a Broncos brass member on the other. Maybe you command a little bit more respect. Obviously, there's no tampering and things like that, John, you know, but when it comes down to getting deals done and throwing your weight around, isn't that what John Elway has been known for as a Broncos general manager? I know he's no longer the GM. Yeah, I get it. But listen, George Payton didn't even go down to the Senior Bowl, which makes me wonder if John Elway was somewhere creeping around there, you know, doing his own thing like Ozzie Newsome likes to do at the Shrine Bowl last year. Yeah. But, John, it just, man, Seven has been known for his comebacks. He's been known for having something extra up his sleeve. Is this crazy? Is this a crazy theory to think, you know, maybe John Elway could be the catalyst for getting Deshaun Watson in town, at least one element of keeping Deshaun Watson interested?
I think he can be an element of bringing in Watson to the Broncos. I don't think he has any deciding factor for the Broncos making this deal. He's not the one putting together the trade package. I assume he's going to listen to the trade package that Payton, is going to make up, and he's going to give his 2 cents. Let him know what he thinks about it. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to Payton to make that call. Now, I think if there is a package that's acceptable and Payton is, you know, just is starting to talk with Elway, I believe Elway has the ability to convince Payton. So it's a matter of Can they have a deal and structure ready? And if so, I think Elway can push it over the edge and say, you got to make this deal done. And you got to add an extra first and get this deal done. Let's get the Broncos moving in the right direction. I know it's going to cost a first round, a second round. It's going to cost even more, an additional first, an additional second, and some blue chip players as well. So it's going to cost a lot, but this is what I've heard from Broncos fans, that they think he is the man. Watson is the man. Well, if he is the man, we can start by getting him, bringing him in here, and using our young wide receiver core, our young offensive core, have them lead, and have Fangio build up a defense in the coming years with some of those lesser players that he can work on, and he can see those traits that are desirable. Have it be Fangio's defense, and have Watson have some free reign on the offense.
I don't like what you're saying, John, because it makes too much sense. It makes too much sense, right? And when we go on Twitter, right, and we're all very opinionated, and we love to share our opinion, and our opinion is the only one that matters. You've got like red, blue, and then there's somewhere a color in the middle. You're that color in the middle where the truth is usually right there. And I feel like you're bringing some realistic tones to me. Like, I'm thinking, okay, John, it's time for you to fire up the jet. Get down to Houston like you did with Peyton. Peyton Manning was a free agent, right? So it was a little different player, things like that. The Broncos organizationally are telling us they are going in a different direction. That direction does not really include John Elway. So
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me, though. I don't care if they say they're taking another direction. If they're, I care when it comes down to it. Is there an actual new direction? Right now, we really don't know. I think Peyton is definitely starting his new tenure, but at the same time, it's a 6-year deal. This is maybe, the 5th year is to give one more chance for this organization where it's at. I'm not sure if this is something where Peyton feels the need to get something done this year.
Oh, that kills me that you say that, and it does, because I feel like there's truth to it. When you have a 6-year deal, John, as a GM, you've got a little bit of security. In fact, I would argue the only one with any security in that entire organization is George Payton. Now,
yes.
Patrick Smythe, love the guy. I think he's going to be with the Broncos, hopefully for many years to come, because man, he's a heck of a guy. Broncos PR, love those cats. Eric, Seth, those guys do such a great job. But before we get into the meat and the potatoes of the conversation, I know Broncos country is coming out here in full force with some of their comments, but it comes down to a couple of things. And Tyler, I'm going to get to you in just a second. Here's my thing with quarterbacks in general. Franchise quarterbacks are not developed. They're born. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean it's all honky-dory, peaches and cream. They're never going to throw an interception. They're never going to go through trials and tribulations. And you can go to my Twitter, at Luke Patterson LP, at John K MHH, and check out some of those conversations. But what I mean by that is these guys, man, there's a talent that's born in them. For Christ's sakes, we're going to see Tom Brady, we're going to see Pat Mahomes. Those guys, there's something about them. They're those unicorns. And you can win in the NFL with a good quarterback, sure. But my point is, if the Broncos have designated Deshaun Watson as their guy, he's a franchise quarterback to us. Champ Bailey just said he can change the trajectory of a franchise. And something I wrote about on milehighhuddle.com. But when Champ Bailey, Hall of Famer, saying that, all these other Hall of Famers are coming out saying, Deshaun, don't play for the Texans. Get out of there. Okay, get out of there. Change your career. You got J.J. Watt apologizing to him, saying, man, I'm so sorry we wasted a year of your career. J.J. Watt, another player wanting to get out. Broncos country has got to figure out if Deshaun Watson is a quarterback that they are willing to accept. Because for me, if there's a franchise quarterback, there's not a price tag in the world that is too expensive. Now, on the flip side of that, John, when you look at Matt Stafford, Jared Goff, the Los Angeles Rams are going to have to pay the piper sooner or later. Okay. Yeah. And I liked Matt Stafford. The Broncos liked Matt Stafford, and the Spin Masters are going to try to sell you. No, Drew Lock, that was the deal breaker. No, that wasn't the deal breaker. Okay. The Broncos didn't want to hang on to Drew Lock. Otherwise they wouldn't be calling about Matt Stafford. It's that simple. But John, do you think Deshaun Watson, obviously he's a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. He's top five, I would even say.
Good. Me too. I'm there. Is Deshaun Watson your guy as a quarterback? You've got your GM hat on. I'm not talking price tag or anything like that. I just want to know, yes or no. You going to go after him? You going to make those calls?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yes, you make those calls. You do it. You go as far as you can with those calls. You want to take it really to see. You want to get a feeling for what it will all take, essentially. So yes, you make these calls, and you don't take them as just let's just call and see what's up. I want them to take this with a real stake in this call, knowing that if they mess this call up, that they will lose out on Watson. And that is a huge deal for the Broncos and their future. We're talking 10 years of security. So once you lose those 3 years or 4 years, let's say, again, you can only use 3 years of ahead for draft picks. But let's say, future down the line, you give them other players. That can be quite a bit. That gives you time, though, by year 5 to start building a real special roster.
And that's the key.
So if we're talking patience with Locke, we have to talk patience with Watson and getting him a roster that is as good and ready to win a Super Bowl. Patience goes both ways for both players.
Again, John, you make too much sense, man. I'm going to have to get you out of here making sense, finding some truth and logic somewhere in the middle. But before we get there, man, let's get to some
supers.
Let's get to some supers, man. And we've got all kinds of folks coming in here. John, I'm not pressing any buttons. I'm going to let you do this.
Okay.
You know I like to click away.
We got Tyler Randall coming in here.
Yes.
Absolutely love the phenomenal work all of you do. Thank you so much, Tyler. We really do appreciate that. I appreciate you all making time for us here in Broncos country. I would love to get Watson, even as a Lock supporter. I just can't be behind the cost. Hashtag Denver Broncos for life. Hashtag state of being. Hashtag Oklahoma.
All right, Tyler, I hear you, man. The price tag is rich and you are worried, and you have good reason to be worried. And I'm not going to tell you shouldn't be worried, because I also fired out there on the good old Twitter this week that the Broncos are not just a quarterback away from being a playoff team. Heck, John, they're not a quarterback away from being a 500 team. And you can poke fun of me all you want, whatever. I've got a thick skin. I've been in this business for a little bit, but you guys are crazy if you think that just Deshaun Watson is going to solve all your problems. John, you just said it. All the Drew Lock fans, give him patience, give him time. Well, if Deshaun Watson gets here, we need to actually give him time. We need to give him those players to make him succeed. He has a franchise left tackle, sure, but let's build up that defense so that way, he can stay on the field a lot longer. All of those sort of things. So I like that comment a lot. I get that it's a rich, rich price tag, and everybody's jaw hit the floor when they saw Matthew Stafford's ultimate trade deal and stuff, because that's setting the market, right, John?
Right.
So when you're setting the market for a Matthew Stafford and you command those future draft picks, and it makes Broncos country cringe, and I get it because they need so much work. But here's where I'm a little frustrated, John. Ultimately, aren't we delaying the inevitable a little bit? Because one name that we don't hear anything about, the head coach, Vic Fangio, because he doesn't care about the offense, right? Let's just be honest. He doesn't care. He'll be the first one to tell you he doesn't care. Just watch him on Sundays. Can't find a more disconnected head coach in the NFL than Vic Fangio. So if you're Deshaun Watson, do you even really care about the head coach, Vic Fangio? Do you even really care who he is? I mean, if we're going to be honest, I don't expect Vic Fangio to be here after this upcoming 2021 season. Maybe they roll with Drew Lock. Maybe they stay out of the Deshaun Watson talks and they kind of go on a neutral year and then give Peyton the ultimate year. Yeah, give Peyton the ultimate clean slate. On the other hand, I'm thinking, man, a Deshaun Watson trade, these things don't happen, John, ever. These things do not happen. You do not get 24-year-old franchise quarterback saying, get me out of here for the love of God. I do not want to be a Houston Texan anymore. Get me out. And Jesus, George Payton, John Elway, let's get this done, man. I mean, the Spin Masters, again, George Payton, he couldn't make it to the Senior Bowl because he's doing so much. What is he really doing? What is he doing? Because I get it, slept on the couch. came up through the scouting ranks. I'm a huge fan of the scouting community. I'm involved in it myself, so I respect it. But man, John, deals get done from 7-Eleven. Deals get done, unless you're Elvis Dumerville with a fax machine in Miami. Deals get done all the time.
Here's
what's going on, man?
Here's one deal I want Broncos fans to remember. Think about the Cutler deal to the Bears. Think of how much both teams came out with nothing in essentially. The Broncos got a first and third, I believe, in 2009, and a first and third in 2010 plus Orton. The Bears got Cutler and a 5th round pick. So I believe what ended up happening with those picks was the Broncos drafted Robert Ayers with one of them, and the other they traded up from the year before to get Alphonso Smith. Now, I'm not sure if you remember him. He was a 1-year wonder as a 2nd-round pick that cost the Broncos their first. He was traded that next year for Dan Gronk, basically Gronk's brother, Dan.
Little Gronk. Mm-hmm.
Big Gronk, Dan. So that's how meaningless some of these draft picks can come down to be. The Broncos had their own picks. So that's 4 first rounds picks in 2 years. They had 4 thirds. They were set. Multiple seconds. Still nothing got done with all those different pieces. So that's the way I think. And yes, Watson is way better than Cutler. I think we can all agree on that. Definitely.
This is the Overtime Podcast Network.
Well, I like that you bring up history, John, because that's a very important thing to understand. And the landscape has changed so much since Jay Cutler. It feels like yesterday, right? I mean, that's, man. And then you start seeing, you go down the Twitter rabbit hole, so to speak, the wormhole. And it's just bizarre when you see and you realize, I'll just ask you, who is the last franchise quarterback that the Denver Broncos drafted and developed? Crickets. That's because they've never done it, John. Let me just try to save the awkward.
Maybe with Kubiak, because then we developed him into a coach.
I feel like John. No. Yeah, no.
Okay.
So
I understand. I tried.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a bizarre point of Broncos history, right? I mean, it's something that's just like, man, the Broncos haven't drafted their own quarterback. What the heck? Even John Elway, right? Came over from the Colts, not going to do this. You look at Jake Plummer, because I start going back and then I'm thinking, well, who was before Jake Plummer? You got Brian Greasy in the house, right? That didn't really work out. It's just, my point is, these quarterbacks do not come along. These scenarios do not come along. We saw Le'Veon Bell, the running back with the Steelers. You see Antonio Brown, wide receiver with the Steelers. Those things, they happen. Disgruntled players happen. Disgruntled quarterbacks, that doesn't happen. I'm trying to think about some last disgruntled quarterbacks, and I start thinking about gosh, I can't even remember the cat's name. The guy from the Cincinnati Bengals, quarterback forever. Palmer. Yeah. Palmer's for Carson Palmer. There we go.
Yes,
when Carson Palmer got traded from the Bengals to the Raiders, I believe, the Raiders released him, and then he went with the Cardinals for a while and actually put up some really good numbers.
So he did it twice.
And you're looking twice. And you're looking at Carson Palmer, a former first-round quarterback from...
Not only that, first overall.
That's right, from University of Southern California. I know Kim Becker's listening somewhere, so she'll be really happy that we gave USC a quick shout out there. But yeah, man, it just, you got to figure out what it's worth to you, and figuring out what it's worth to you. I got to get to my guy Levi in here, John.
Yeah, let's get
Levi's been waiting very, very patiently.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Levi.
As I spill my word salad. But when it comes to quarterbacks, man, I'm just so passionate about it because it's the most significant and important position in all of sports, John. If you don't have a quarterback, you got nothing. And
it's been since '87. I mean, it's one of those things. When was the last? It's been a while.
I feel like Stained, right? It's been a while since we've seen a quarterback try to win a game. But it's tough, man. It's really tough.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's open it up, man. I want to get to some of these guys' takes.
Yeah.
Guys and gals. We got Rello Takeover coming in here with a $2 super. Rello, appreciate you so much. Welcome to MHI. Go Broncos. What are your thoughts on hiring Christian Parker as the defensive backs coach? John, any initial impressions to talk to Rello about that?
To me, this is him getting his big break, obviously, for Parker. He's been a Green Bay assistant for 2 years, I believe, only. So he's pretty fresh. Used to be working with, I believe, the Texas A&M analyst. So he kind of has worked his way up a different path. And he's basically replacing Ronaldo Hill, who's gone to the Los Angeles Chargers. Really don't have much to say about him because he's so fresh in the league. Just know that he came from analytics, which is something I think a lot of us, like when some of these, trying to choose between a few corners or whatever it may be.
Well, and here's another thing, Rello. I really, really like the question. And John, that was an excellent answer, dude. You were all over it. And guys, Zach Kelberman just threw down an article on milehighhuddle.com, released 2 hours ago on this. And it's talking about the Broncos hire former Packers Christian Parker as new defensive back coach. So Zach Kelberman, always on the beat. Go check that out at milehighhuddle.com. It's a great read. John was able to summarize that just so beautifully. But yeah, man, it's the landscape is changing. The landscape is always changing. That was one of the first things I was told on why George Paton wasn't there. Oh, he's got to hire all these people. He's got to get to know everybody. No, he doesn't. He doesn't need to. You get to know people on the road. You get to know people by breaking bread. You get to know people by sharing hotel rooms. What better way to get to know people? But when you start talking about analytics, George Paton is all about those analytics. George Paton grew up in the scouting community, and I love it. And that's why I'm so bitter. Maybe I'm just bitter and jealous because I didn't get to meet George Paton. That's what it is. When you see someone from the scouting community make it, and by no means do I know George Paton. I've never even met the guy or laid eyes on the guy, but I just have so much respect for that come up, man. I'm talking to my wife about it, and missing my daughter and my wife being at the Senior Bowl for just a week. And she had asked me, does traveling ever bother you when you're at pro days, when you're on the road, things like that? And it's like, well, not really. Well, why is that? Don't you miss us? I'm like, yeah, but have you ever heard of the life of a scout? Good Lord, that no worse job in the world than that of an NFL draft scout with all the work hours and time that they've put into that. And speaking of that, John, one plug I wanted to encourage Broncos country to take a look at. Former right-hand man, Matt Russell, has just went on air with a local radio station here in the Denver market and has provided excellent context with regards to some of his struggles with alcoholism. He talked a little bit about his DUI, all kinds of stuff, man. Matt Russell really just opened up and bared his heart and soul, and I got to listen to that. And again, it's on, I don't want to be plug-in radio stations all over the place, but it's on a local radio station here in Denver. I encourage Broncos country to go take a look at it because it's just, man, when people can reveal their heart and their soul like Matt Russell did. And guys, look, Matt Russell was offered the general manager job. He was offered it and turned it down. So it is a true changing of the guard. We know that George Paton likes analytics. You know who doesn't like analytics? Vic Fangio. And that's why he got rid of Rich Gangarello and the analytics guy, because he can't stand a voice other than his own in his headset. It drives me nuts. I have no idea how this whole analytics thing and Vic Fangio, and it's the dirty little secret, John. I say it all the time, fit. It's all about fit in the NFL, and it's going to be interesting to see how Vic Fangio's new coaching staff and how the Broncos' new GM are going to fit together, and if they will at all.
Yeah, because these aren't Peyton's guys. They're not. They're Fangio's, but look, hey, if they can make it work this season, let's say it's Watson, let's say it's Luck, whatever it is, whatever scenario is great for you, if they can make it work this season, I'm all for having Fangio stay. We're going to be realistic when it comes to that. At the same time, Fangio, if you don't get it done in the first quarter of the season, it's time to see you kind of scuttle away.
Yeah, you gotta hit the road, man. You gotta hit the road, and that's the thing I want to say about Locke too. I like Drew. I like Drew a lot. I like Drew since Missouri. Anytime I've interacted with Drew in training camp, man, he's been awesome to me. I know that Drew comes from a good family. I know that Drew cares. I think Drew's a good guy. But you know what? Being a good guy doesn't mean you're going to be an NFL quarterback. And, good-looking young kid, doesn't get in trouble, right? Like obviously the makings, the talent, everything's there, but the fit, I'm not so sure. So speaking about fit, I want to get to some of our super chat superstars who are on here, John, if we can, because how do they fit? Well, they are MHI, and the reason why MHI is just becoming so big, and the reason Mile High Huddle is becoming so big, because they make us fit into the Broncos community. So I've got to give them some time.
This is the Overtime Podcast Network.
In the shop with Willie. I absolutely love that car, Willie. $5 super. Appreciate you so much. Go Broncos, and thank you for joining the show. Willie coming in with, look, guys, I love Locke, but Deshaun Watson is obviously a top 5 quarterback. He's just so freaking expensive. The price of acquisition is insane. Willie, I want to ask you something, brother, and go ahead and get at us, and you don't need to throw any donations in there. Get at us in the super chat line, and I'll pull it back up. But my question for you, you're a car head, you're a gearhead. What is your favorite car in the world? And if you had an opportunity to get it, would you go get it? Look, I hear you. Resources, right? We've all got families. We've all got families. We've all got kids. But let me tell you, let's put it in, like you own your own dealership, right? You and 32 other dealerships, and you've got an opportunity to invest in your most favorite car in the whole world, and everybody else is calling on that car too. Man, something tells me, Willie, just by looking at that car that you've got, just by hearing the logic in your voice, you'd entertain it, but you've got to use logic. You've got to use reason. And I like that because, Willie, I think that's a very fair response. Now, look, I'm a big John Elway fan. I played against Jack in high school. John's been...
I did as well.
Yeah, weird, right? John, like when you're in Denver and stuff too, John is just, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. John's the GOAT. And then when you're covering John in events, John, you live 5 minutes from freaking UC Health Training Center, right? Yeah. We talked about this off the air, peek behind the curtain. You've shared cold pops with a few Broncos before, just like I have. And, when we're talking John Elway here, John, man, I need you to throw that weight around, baby. I know Deshaun Watson wasn't there watching you when you were playing, but you know what? He was in high school watching Peyton Manning get recruited to the Denver Broncos, and then you start thinking Peyton, right? Maybe can Peyton give us some free advice here? Can Peyton maybe tell Deshaun Watson what it's like playing in Denver? Hell, what it's like living in Denver? Peyton Manning still lives here, guys. His kids go to school here. There's something about the Broncos. But in the shop with Willie, I absolutely love it, man. Great question. The price of acquisition is insane. It is insane. The question is, Willie, are you crazy enough to do it, man? That's it. That's what you got to figure out. Are you crazy enough to do it? Because you're right. It's crazy expensive. But someone's going to do it. Will it be the Denver Broncos?
I wanted to get someone from Twitch over here. We got Savage Boy Kev02. What do you guys think of potential Wentz trade for future second-round picks? So this would be essentially similar to the Brock Osweiler deal where the Texans said, here, please take Osweiler off our hands. We had a horrible deal with him. Take everything. Here's a second-round pick. We don't want anything. Just take the contract. Go, please. Would you be okay with the Broncos saying, just take the contract of Wentz? Here's some second-round picks maybe. Here's a second and a third. Would that be interesting to you? Because the Browns just immediately cut ship, and the Broncos took them that year, if you remember.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't, man. I don't want Wentz. And this is Savage Boy. Appreciate you joining the show via Twitch, too. Thank you so much for your support. Yes. Twitch is a brand new platform that we've been working on with MHH for a little bit, but we've got a huge following now on Twitch. So appreciate the question. Here's my thing, John. No, because the Broncos already have problems with money. All right. Jawan James. He's the biggest problem I can think of when it comes to, you're thinking about the Broncos actually cutting bait and still paying him. Are the Broncos still paying Vance Joseph too? The Broncos are paying a whole bunch of players that either don't play or coaches that have moved on to other teams. So that makes me hesitate a lot. Carson Wentz, man. I've never liked Carson Wentz, if I'm going to be honest. I'd never liked him coming out of college. Never liked him with Philly. Man, when I hear things in the scouting community and stuff. Like, you know, he doesn't like to be coached hard. And dude, that just turns me off. It sours me. The athletic ability is there with Carson Wentz. I think that, you know, he's a very good dude. He obviously does a lot of great things for charities. You know, I bawl like a baby when I see his videos with kids and some of the works that he does with kids. Yeah. So I think he's a good dude. But no, man, I don't want Carson Wentz. That's a huge step backwards. That's actually putting yourself in a hole, if you ask me. But I appreciate that question because it's part of the market, John. I mean, Schefter's talking about it. Rappaport's talking about it. Siciliano's talking about it. DJ's talking about it. Everybody's saying, like, there are more moves coming.
With the cap, the way it's structured at this point, from what we expect, I just expect, you know, that one team that has cap that need, you know, maybe it's the line. That can't be the Lions, but you know, one team. It'd be hilarious if it was the Lions. They'd be like, and just cut bait. It's a hard thing to think about. How do you move Wentz, and you know, do they go with Hurts? I personally would go with Hurts at this point, and
me too.
Ride that out. But it's just. Not too close to.
I wasn't a Hurts guy. I wasn't a Hurts guy coming out either, dude. I really
wasn't either. Me neither.
But when he came in the league and I started to see what he could do, I'm like, yeah, you play Hurts. Jalen Hurts is absolutely crushing it. But speaking of crushing it, we got Mike coming in here. You want to throw Mike back up there? Yeah, why would Watson want to wait 3 to 5 years? He wants to win now. Mike, that is an awesome observation and comment. And something that I said on these very podcast waves last week when I was down in Mobile. Why would Deshaun Watson want to come to the Broncos? They're a mess. They don't have an owner. Their head coach could give a rip about the offense. Anytime you hear about the Broncos, it's for bad things, usually social media related. It's just one thing after another with this team. But I will say this, Mike, it's talking to some people in the know, man. It feels like, I'm not going to say things are moving. I'm not going to say ground has been broken, but it feels like, yeah, it's a pipe dream and yeah, it's pie in the sky and everything like that. But you're telling me there's a chance. You got Mike Bliss out there. You got all these other insiders saying, hang on, just wait. Something's here. Something's there, man. Something is there. They're trying. They're working on something. Would Deshaun Watson ultimately want to come to Denver? Apparently Kareem Jackson thinks he does. I mean, TMZ reports, TMZ for what it's worth. Go ahead and think what you want, but check that article out as well. But that's a good question, Mike. And as we start to wrap up the show, John, I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your thoughts on Base Gase right here with his super, because I've been wanting to get to this in a while because Base Gase is always killing us with truth. And I love it. And I actually came prepared to answer his super. So anytime you want to throw that up there, I'm ready.
So you're prepared and I'm not. Okay.
I'm prepared. I'm prepared because this is an argument that I have all the time with people and I never know the answer. And so I want Base Gase to get up here.
We're getting an answer tonight.
So let's throw it up.
Yeah, Base Gase, man.
Oh, no,
I'm sorry. I thought you said you had it ready.
You're the click master, brother. I can't do it. Otherwise,
all right. First, let's get Levi, or else we're going to get a weird jump. So first, we're going to take care of our man Levi.
What's up, buddy? Look at him. Look at ZW Design shirt right there. Go to huddleuppod.com and get your swag on, just like Levi. I hope you're doing good, brother, and I hope you have a great Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes, everyone. I hope you have a great Super Bowl Sunday, no matter what. If you're in it for the ads, if you're in it for the halftime show, if you're in it for to watch actual football, I hope you enjoy it. I hope your team wins. I don't want to know your team because it could change our opinions on each other. But let's get to Levi.
Levi's coming in, man. Yeah, exactly, dude. And Levi keeps it real. That's the thing I love about Levi. So tell us what Levi's thinking, John. Fire away.
Levi's is coming in with a $10 donation. I like Locke, but if you get a chance to get at Watson, you got to try to get that guy. Top 5 quarterbacks at his age do not come available. They don't. And I agree. It needs to be capitalized, the whole thing. Do not come available. This is unprecedented. The draft is a guess. Watson is known. Again, I agree with that. Even if you had the choice between trading up and let's say it had the same capital to get Wilson from BYU, Zach Wilson at number 2 versus getting Watson. Well, of course, I'm going to take Watson over Wilson.
Sure.
So it's one of those things where you take that guy who's a proven top 5 guy,
Yes.
young, has years to go. And again, give him that time to develop with this team, where they're getting those picks around him to build up that defense, which might be taking a hit with maybe Chubb loss, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. You're still have a quarterback that compete, get a ton of points. It's going to be fun football until this team is ready to compete for a Super Bowl.
What do I talk to you about all the time, John? Football. And it's, man, it's so easy for me to tell who knows football and who doesn't. Levi knows football because the Broncos country knows football. When they are hearing that Deshaun Watson wants out and you start seeing the pictures of a number 4 jersey with Deshaun Watson here, everybody gets goosebumps. Everybody goes back to those flashes. Yeah, the flashbacks of Peyton Manning, right? I went back on my Facebook and, man, I could never imagine seeing Peyton in an orange and blue, and boom, there he is. So those things happen, man. Well, they don't happen, rather. Those things don't happen where you get a quarterback like this. But get me to Base Case, because I'm running out of patience, just like Base Case is.
Okay.
And he's got a huge point to prove, something that I've talked about for a very, very long time. And it goes back to the ultimate philosophy on quarterbacks. Now, where people kill me a little bit is where they say the draft is a crapshoot. The draft is not a crapshoot. There's a science to it, sure.
Yeah.
Luck, you bet. But you're going to have misses. You're going to have hits. That's just the way it is. Now, Base Case coming in here with a $3.99 super with those crazy eyes. Remember what Kansas City gave up for Pat Mahomes? Because I don't. And that's one of my favorite arguments I love to drop on folks when you start talking about quarterbacks, because
they gave –
Go ahead.
Let me see if I just know the numbers.
Go for it. I got the answer. I got the answer right here. Go for it. Fire it away.
I think they traded 2 firsts, but then they ended up using one of the first, so it ended up just being a first. It was something like it was 2 firsts, but when you did the math aside, it was just 1.
Yeah, so very good, very close.
Yay!
KC traded the number 27 overall pick, a 3rd-round pick, and their 2018 first-round selection to the Bills to move them up to number 10. And Base Case is spitting hot fire here, because he's saying, look, the point is the details don't matter. The Chiefs identified their guy when they were already winning with one Alex Smith, and they went and got him. And you guys can sit there and hate and say, Andy Reid's developed Pat Mahomes. No, he hasn't. Pat Mahomes hasn't had any time to develop. He stepped right into the league and has started winning. It proves my point that these guys are not developed. They're born. Peyton Manning, I got into it with a cat on Twitter today, and he's like, "Oh, Peyton Manning, Tony Dungy." Listen, Tony Dungy did not develop Peyton Manning. Even was heard by the same person. Dan Reeves developed John Elway. Dan Reeves did not develop John Elway. No. Let me tell you, Mike Shanahan would probably be the first to tell you that. It's just one of those things for me, man, where it's just like there's not going to be like everything's just peaches and cream, man, and it's groovy, and this quarterback is just going to lead you to the promised land. We can all think of those first-round quarterbacks that have busted out over the years. But when you identify these guys like Broncos country is, they're saying, dude, Deshaun Watson, hello, no-brainer. This cat can ball. Go get him. For the love of God, go get him. At least try to go get him. And if the reports come out that, the Broncos were trying to lowball the Houston Texans and he's able to go to the Jets or somewhere else, I'll be really upset. Just because it's total ignorance. It's a total waste of time. They're not just going to give this cat away. They've made that very, very clear. So you got to pay to play, so to speak, especially when you're going after a quarterback.
I agree. And I think, again, the fact that we don't think about the future trades and everything, what came with that, all you saw was at the end of his rookie season, Mahomes came out, played against the Broncos. He showed some great flashes, and then the rest is history.
We got Boggins in the house. What's up, Bog? Appreciate you so much. I was DMing Bog a little bit. I was down at the Senior Bowl, and
we got a super from him, so we'll grab that after you get to
this. Yeah. And guys,
Thank you.
Yeah, be sure to get at us too, man. Get at me at Luke Patterson LP. I think it's at John K MHH, right?
Yes, correct.
And yeah, get at us and DM us, dude. We're total football junkies, man. I'll be up till 3 a.m. if I can, and I will get back to everybody. I promise. Because one of my biggest
send
things
me your mocks.
Don't send him. Don't send me your mocks, dude. I hate mocks.
I love it.
I hate you and the rest of the MHH guys. I don't think Chad likes them either, or Zach. But like, dude, you guys drive me insane with your mock drafts.
They're nonsensical. I can get 25 picks, and I'm just like, what am I doing? I just have a whole new team. Great.
Now I'm making fun of them, right? And I'm making fun of you guys. I do it too. Okay, I do it too, man. All the time. I've got it. I pulled up on my phone and everything. I do it too. And yes, I take screenshots of them, and I have to talk myself out of posting them on Twitter and everything else because I don't want to be ridiculed as I try to ridicule all the other mock drafters out there. But we're in our final segment, man, and this show just goes so quick, and it always flies. And we got Bog coming in here, man, just like you said. And Mr. Boggins, appreciate you so much, guys. Go check out MHRT on Twitter. You guys will be very excited to see some familiar faces there. They're good friends of mine, good friends of John. Yes. And anytime I could say what's up to the Mile High round table, I want to get in it. Mr. Boggins, Watson equals decade of top 5 to 7 quarterback play in a loaded quarterback conference. Who needs first round picks when you're in the playoffs and your pick is at the end of the first round anyway? Plus, guys, Deshaun Watson only cost $10 million in his first year. Mr. Boggins is hitting on something. He's hitting on something big here because what are we hearing right now? That the Raiders are looking at getting Deshaun Watson, which is terrible news if you're the Denver Broncos. Could you imagine, John? I'm getting nauseous feelings just thinking about it because Mr. Boggins is right. He's saying, dude, how do you guys feel about not only Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, but don't forget about the Raiders? Mr. Boggins, he follows all this stuff just like we do too. And I know that's what he's thinking. And that's where he's going with that super chat because, again, he knows football. Broncos country, they know football. With questions like that, it is so easy to tell who's plugged in and who's not. And that's a great question, man. Deshaun Watson, he's in. If he is not a Bronco and ends up in the AFC West, what does that mean for the Denver Broncos? And will they ever be middle of the pack, let alone top of the division, at least for the next 5 or 10 years?
That's one of those things where you hope that's where we're talking a few years down the line. Do we find a quarterback? Is there a quarterback that Peyton can fall in love with this year? Is he going to actually stand firm and hope they follow the Niners? Is he actually going to say, this is my guy, I'm going to go get him? A lot of what ifs that are going on right now. But yeah, with Watson, you're good for years. I don't know how you can say no.
Yeah, dude, and we got our guys coming in here, Chris too, man. Watson with the Raiders, we are done. Yeah. And TB12 and the Pirates. Oh, dude, it's everything, man. I don't want another good quarterback here. I'm just trying to catch up. The Broncos are trying to catch up to covering a tight end in the division, let alone a quarterback. All right. Yep. So yeah, you got JJ Watt and Deshaun Watson looking to get out of Houston, and with good reason. But I want to get to a very special superstar.
This is a very special superstar.
And a very special friend to you, and you and I, and the rest of the
everybody. I think this is someone who, in the chat, when people see this person, they always feel a lift. They always feel good whenever they see her just around. And it's just one of those things where we got some gifts from her for the holidays, and man, did they mean a world to me. I know I've shared with her my personal story, so it's been very special, her gifts. And should we throw up her super?
Yes, please.
We've done it enough.
Please. Yes, we've hyped her up, and it's Pabby. It's our girl Pabby. Yes. Pabby with our $100 super. Hello, Broncos country, with that orange and blue love. Pabby, yeah, appreciate you so much. You're such a huge friend of not only the show and the MHH, but of me personally. I'm proud to call you a friend. And Broncos country, man, this is the fan base that we deserve. It is a young lady like Pabby, man. She's so positive all the time, constantly looking to spread positivity, and
she does. I mean, I'm not going to say what line of work she's in, but she does. She spreads it across, and that's really, she cares about people, and that's a big thing for me. And there we have the queen. Pabby is the queen.
What's up, Christy?
We still have you're the queen. Don't worry, Poppy's the princess. She is quite happy with it. I've talked to her about it. We got a good meshing going there, but she is a queen as well.
Yeah, no, we got Christy coming in. Appreciate you coming in, Christy. I hope all is well with you and the fam. Again, check out MHRT, good friends of the show. So I got to say what's up to everybody else too, but Tim coming in here. Abby for president 2024. I think that's something we can all get behind right there. And generally, I try to stay away from anything politically related in any conversation in life. But that one right there, we can all get behind.
And her executive order, first of all, is going to be give the Broncos an extra first-round pick every year.
Hey, man.
Of course.
Hey, man, I'll take it. Here's something I want to say, though, too, before we get going. 5 minutes to go. And here's what are we talking? We're talking about quarterbacks, right? We're talking about Deshaun Watson. We're talking about if John Elway can pull some clout in possibly getting him to the Broncos. I would just feel so good if this was John's last little call to action, man. This is John sailing into the sunset. Here, Broncos country. I did my best. Here is a franchise quarterback. Good luck. See you down the road.
That's a great Swan song. It's great and everything. But let me tell you this. Does Elway really need anything else to add to his cachet?
Yes.
You really think so? I know that they feel they do. They're very, I'm not saying egotistical, but players are driven to success, just like anyone. A CEO is driven to success. Some people are driven to that success and continue success and have it never end. And they'll work so hard for it. I don't, if he's able to pull it off, man, is that a way to end your career and just say, hey, I set you up for greatness. At the same time, if he doesn't set that up, I wouldn't hinder him in any way. Everything he's done as a GM has been a pleasure for me. He's given us a Super Bowl. What more could you ask for? From me, at least my perspective.
Yeah, no, it's tough with John, right? It's really tough with John because you've got to give him, you got to step back from it. Yeah, you got to take your number 7 jersey off, at least for me as an analyst, dude. And that's one of the toughest things. And, I am a Broncos fan, but on Sundays, I'm not. I look at things as an analyst and, for better or worse, I mean, I remember when the Broncos would lose, it ruined my day. Something I've heard everybody talk about. I've heard Christy talk about it, Pobby, your
whole week. It changes the week. You come into the office, it is different feeling. And if it's a win, everyone comes in and it goes, hey, it's Monday, but guess what?
So
the Broncos won.
Right, but we've had a lot of losing. So you know what? John does have something to give the Broncos. John is the most competitive man I've ever met in my life. Y'all know the stories about, homeboy getting beat in poker and having to sell his poker table, right, from Bubby Brister beating him and everything like that. John doesn't like to lose. John is like that Michael Jordan competitive, almost where it's sick. All right. It's just they're so sick about being competitive. You have got to think that John wants to leave the Broncos in a better spot. But I will tell you this. You guys can call me crazy. Go for it. I know what I saw. Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Drew Lock today, right now, without a single snap in the NFL. Now, at the Senior Bowl, I was really impressed with what I like to call the meat and potatoes of the draft. 3 through 7, late rounds, stuff like that. I think you're going to find a lot of good picks there, John. I really do. Now, I'm not trying to knock on some of the other quarterbacks that were there, like Ian Book and some of these other cats, but man, you just know when a quarterback's going to hit and when the talent's a lot different. And that's certainly the case with Mac Jones. Now, would I pick Mac Jones at number 9? No way. Absolutely not. Even if we don't get Deshaun Watson, I wouldn't get him. Hearing tons of reports, the Patriots are in love with Mac Jones. They love him.
15 as far as I'm concerned. But
okay,
continue.
All right, they love him. And I will tell you this, Mac Jones will be the 5th quarterback taken off of the board.
I agree 100%.
In the first round. And
well, you might as well have that 5th-year option. If you're going to go in, you got to get that 5th-year option.
Right. So we can make fun of Mac Jones and body shame him with the cigar in his mouth and all that stuff. The cat can ball. And having a few cold pops down there in Mobile with some scouts and trying not to have total fanboy moments as you're meeting some of these scouts from NFL Network that you've, fawned over as a little kid for your entire lives. And they're telling you, dude, some of the most successful quarterbacks to ever make it aren't all ripped up and shredded. They're not all toned up looking like Men's Health, man. They're, look at Tom Brady, right? Everybody loved to make fun of Tom Brady when he was coming out. Pat Mahomes, dude, he's just a hunk of a man. He's just crazy. He's a freak. Aaron Rodgers, kind of an average Joe. You're not seeing these shredded Tim Tebow of quarterbacks coming out and making it work in the league. But
and you know why? Just real quick. Sorry to go off go off here.
No, you're good, bro.
Why? Because those guys that are perfectly sculpted body guys. Guess what? You take one hit. What do you have there to protect you? Nothing. You're going to take the full hit. So it is okay. You can't, expect a guy to be completely ripped or anything like that. Give them some meat and potatoes so they can get behind the throws and really take a hit as well.
Christy's laughing at Tebow just like the rest of us, man. I know it. But
it was a good enough ride where I enjoyed my ride.
I enjoyed, Tebow, man, he was just a little. Tebow was early to the party, like Taysom Hill and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Maybe he was just a little early to the party, and I don't know, man. He seems like a good dude, does a lot of good work, but cats can play, man, in the NFL, and if they can't, they can't. I still think that Tebow could have played in the NFL, just not quarterback. But I digress. We got to we're starting to wrap up the show just a little bit.
No huge rush. But back with In the Shop with Willie. Why don't you take this one, Luke, with $5 here?
So I asked Willie, just to reset the question for a little bit, because Willie In the Shop Willie came in with a super before this, and appreciate the super so much.
Yes.
Appreciate the super so much, Willie, and DM me, please. I would love to chat and rap football with you any chance I can, man. But I asked Willie, because Willie said, look, man, this Deshaun Watson, yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's awesome, but you're going to go broke just getting the guy, and then you're going to have him and have nothing. So isn't that something to be weary of? And not knowing Willie, I looked at Willie's picture and I'm like, Willie's a car guy. Willie's a gearhead. He gets it, man. I wonder what his dream car would be. If I could set you up with any dream car in your dealership and I'm saying, man, we can invest in this. You want to go get it? What would it be? Get back at me. Well, In the Shop, Willie has gotten back and he's like, look, man, I'd rather build my own car for a lot cheaper. Just starting a channel. This is my new ad. Well, thank you so much, Willie. So Willie's saying, look, I'd rather build my own for cheaper. Well, then to me, that means you're going to get one in the draft. Yep. So Willie, get at me later and let me know which quarterback you're drafting, because that's my very next question, because it doesn't matter, John. It doesn't. I don't care if it's in the draft, free agency, trade. You fall in love with a quarterback, move mountains to go get this guy. I don't care. Just like Base Gase talked about, man. No one can off the top of their head, except for John, because he's one of the smartest dudes I know and has logic, can tell you what the Chiefs traded away for to get Pat Mahomes. It's one of those things, man, where if you pull this trigger, you're gonna reap the fruits of your labor and that ultimate price, whatever it'll be.
Yeah, and real quick, just want to give a shout out to In the Shop with Willie. It sounds like he's starting his own channel, and essentially this is an ad, but it's not. You were having football content there, so give him a look, see what he has, and definitely would love and keep in contact with you.
Yeah, love it. And speaking of keeping in contact, like you said, the Queen is joining us, Miss Christie. I would like to pull up her super next, because guys, she's always killing it with content, killing it with takes, and is one of the most knowledgeable fans that we know and a good friend of our show. Wow. So
got a lot coming in here, so give me 1 second.
Give you 1 second, John. I'm not giving you any time. This isn't like when you're producing behind the scenes and you can just curse at us and we can't hear it and stuff like that. But no, as we reset, guys, as we reset too, guys, it's Nick Kendall's birthday. Go show Nick some love, man. Nick's a good friend of John and I and the show, and Nick busts his tail, guys, and he cares about this so much. So I know it'd mean a world to him if you could just say happy birthday, man. I'm a huge believer in birthdays and holidays. They mean something. Go show my boy some love. Just like Christy, man. Christy showing us some love with a $20 super. Appreciate you so much, Christy. Hope you guys, like you said, man, Super Bowl's tomorrow. So, Christy, I hope that you and the kids, I hope you and the family are cooking up something good. I hope you guys are going to sit down and enjoy a great day. Dude, I don't get excited for the halftime shows.
The halftime shows?
I don't get excited for the halftime shows. I usually get up and leave because I get mad. I'm terrible to watch the game with, John. I really am.
When it matters, is it hard?
I can't see it and enjoy it like a normal human being. I get anxious. I get stressed. I'm taking notes most of the time. I'm not watching the ball. I'm watching other positions and all this other stuff. So I'm absolutely terrible to watch the game with, but I want to hear some predictions as we start to sign off. So
yes.
Christy, let us know your prediction as well. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, man, I've got the Tampa Bay Bucks winning 31-28, a last minute field goal. I just can't pick the Chiefs. I can't do it, man. It's that simple.
Yeah, for me, I'm picking the Chiefs. I am picking the Chiefs with my brain, with my heart. I'm picking Tampa. That's a complete cop out, but I really do think the Chiefs are going to win.
Hey, Broncos country, do me a big favor tomorrow and watch Devin White, please, for the love of God, and Antoine Winfield, and watch Devin White. Now, I'm not saying I'm not saying Micah Parsons is going to be Devin White. I'm not saying that at all. But when you see generational talents like Devin White, and that's what Devin White was described as in that draft that we got Noah Fant. Devin Bush, his number came up. The Broncos ultimately traded back. Steelers picked him up. The rest is history. But, guys, watch Devin White tomorrow. Everybody's picking their Super Bowl MVPs, Brady, Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. Dude, I'm saying right now, Devin White, man, he's a turnover machine. I'd love to see Shaq Barrett, right? Who doesn't want to see Shaq Barrett? He's going against that tackle from the Panthers too, right? It was the same matchup in the Super Bowl that Vaughn was going against that tackle, I believe.
With Remmers?
Yeah. I think it's, yeah.
Then yeah.
So you're looking at that. You're looking at Spagnuolo, the last time that Spagnuolo beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowls with the Giants in a 4-man rush. So start to see some of those things as we wrap up the show. But John, dude, I can't tell you how fun this was, man. We've been really looking forward to getting it on, just like Mundungus Creevy is always getting it on with a $4.99 Super. Luke and John can't get much better than that, dude.
And as you can see with MHRT, they kind of have their own little, face kind of thing that they roll out. So yeah, it's really cool, isn't it?
Aren't those caricatures?
Yes. So I believe that is of Mundungus. I don't believe he has that big of glasses. If you do, though, all the power to you.
No, Mundungus is good, man. He was busting my chops this week for good reason. I love chopping it up with Mundungus. And guys, as we close the show, that's one last thing I want to say. I love the pushback I get on Twitter. I love giving you guys heck on Twitter too. You know why? Because it's fun. It's fun to disagree. It's fun to talk football, and it's fun to not go after each other, right? Like, I know when Mundungus is busting my chops, it's for good reason, and I know it's all out of love, just like we are always showing MHRT love. So that being said, John,
I missed a couple supers while I was enjoying speaking with you. So let's
clean it up. Let's clean it up.
Let's clean this up.
In the shop with Willie has definitely got back. I can see there. No content yet, but will be in the next week or two. $2 supers. So guys, be sure to check in with In the Shop Willie, who is a new friend of MHI
and ZW. By the way,
sorry?
Do you see one from Zachary, ZW Design?
I did not see Zach. But speaking of new shows and everything, Zach,
go ahead and put that in again. We'll get that up.
Yeah, Zach, I see you, buddy. I see you and Duke Boynton, another friend of the show. I see you guys on my Facebook page. So I really, really am pumped to see you guys chasing something that you love, something that's important to you guys. And Mile High Huddle, dude, you guys are just great, man. And I can't thank you guys enough. It was so awesome to come back from the Senior Bowl, dude. It was awesome to rep the MHH brand out there. It's incredible how much respect we get from other publications, John. Talking with other cats that I've never met before, and they see the MHH hat and they recognize it, and they see our works and they recognize some of our writers and some of our podcasters. And it's a pretty cool feeling, man, because you can tell that Chad and even some of the folks that have been with MHH and the founders have been moving up and keeping this thing rolling.
So, yeah, of course. Real quick, though, let's get I Am Supreme 22 with his $2 super. That's perfect. Last 3 first-round picks don't equal Watson. Easy move. I mean, again, he has a lot of point there. I still value Judy quite a bit, but I know some of Broncos country is starting to not see the value in Judy, and it's quite quick how one season changes into the next. But I understand where he's coming from here. I Am Supreme.
Yeah, no. I am Supreme recognized as a talent and a franchise quarterback, and he's saying go get him. Now, when it comes to Jerry Jeudy, man, I'm not going to, dude, it's low-hanging fruit. Yeah. I'm not going to go after the cat for dropped balls because he's already come out and owned it, right? He's already come out and owned it. Now, I am going to come out and say, dude, you need to get with my boy Patrick Smythe and Eric Schubert and Seth Medvin from Broncos PR and maybe go through a couple classes on what not to tweet, maybe invest in the team instead of your own brand. But you know what, dude, John, I'm not trying to give Jerry Jeudy a total pass, but I was 21 once, man. Like, he's a 21-year-old young man. I'm not going to call him a kid because he's a grown man. But you know, we got to give him a little bit of leniency here. I think Jerry Jeudy's a good man. I think that he cares, and I expect him to improve. So, Broncos country, I hear you, man. I was the first to get after Jerry Jeudy, but Jerry Jeudy was still, John, my number one wide receiver. Justin Jefferson might have something to say about that now, but Jerry Jeudy, talent, dude, the talent's there. And Champ Bailey talked about it too with my guys this last week on the air. And he's like, dude, I'm telling you, Jerry Jeudy's still an elite talent. If Champ freaking Bailey is saying, give him a little bit, and Champ Bailey said, which wide receiver, you know, Hall of Famer, Rod Smith, T.O., which one of those dudes had a breakout rookie year that was just like, oh my God. He's like, dude, these things take time. So when Champ's saying, cool your jets, Broncos country, cool your jets. So, that being said, we are going to wrap up the show. Yeah. I appreciate John coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, yeah, man. We've been wanting to do this for a long time. I know Chad was pumped.
It was really fun for me. I really enjoyed it. So, again, anytime, you know, there's a show opening, hopefully I can come in and fill in and we'll have a good time.
Yeah, Broncos country. And here's the big thing, man. Please reach out to us. Reach out to us on Twitter. Get at Mile High Huddle, at Mile High Huddle on Twitter, milehighhuddle.com. If you're joining us today via YouTube, do us a huge favor, like, subscribe, and share our show on Facebook. Be sure to click those little thumbs up and don't miss out on all of our great in-season content at milehighhuddle.com and SI Now channel, part of the Maven Coalition, brought to you by Overtime Media. And John, on the way out, Deshaun Watson, are you selling the farm?
Yeah, I'm selling the farm.
Don't sound happy about it. I mean, Jesus. Are you selling the farm? Yeah. I mean, it sounds like Eeyore over there, man. Like, yeah, I'm selling the farm. I'm going to go get me a number 4 jersey tomorrow because what happened last Saturday night? The Matt Stafford trade. Now, I'm not trying to tell Broncos country something's happening, but you know what? Check your phones. Keep those things going. He's John K. I'm Luke Patterson saying, go Broncos. Always believe in that Mile High magic.